Just the other day I hit 100,000. Seems like. But that was 900,000 views ago. Wonder if I'm going to look back on this and go, remember when I first hit 1 million? All right, so anyways, we need to find y equals mx plus b. So the first thing we got to do is find m, which is our slope, right? So let's zoom in, because I'll need the space. Remember that our slope m is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I amused myself. So we're going to label this as the first x and the first y, x sub 1, y sub 1. We're going to label this as the second x, x sub 2, y sub 2. And we plug it into the formula. Y sub 2 is negative 5 minus minus 2. So now you got to really develop that habit of plugging in the formula and then plugging in the actual number. Because somebody in here will put minus 2. But if you don't put minus minus, how will you know that when you minus, you minus? When you minus a minus, it becomes a plus, right? So that's why we write it that way. Then I'm going to say x sub 2, which is 2, minus x sub 1, which is actually negative 5, 2. So when you minus a minus, that becomes a plus. So I've got negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3, all over 2 plus 5, which is 7. So immediately I know it's not B, and I know it's not A, and it certainly isn't C. So D's probably the answer, but let's crank through the math and double check. So then I say y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x sub 1, or y minus y sub 1, which was negative 2. My slope is negative 3/7 times the quantity x minus x sub 1, which is negative 5. Remember, when you minus a minus, it's actually a plus. So then on my next line, I get y plus 2 is equal to negative 3 over 7 times x. Now this is a tricky one. I'm going to say negative 3, so this is plus negative 3 times a positive 5 all over 7. So I've got y. Now I notice that these have 2 or 7s in the denominator, right? So how could I write 2 as a fraction with 7 in the denominator? 14 over 7, very good. So if I write this as 14 over 7, that's the same as 2. This becomes negative 3/7 times x, and then this is actually minus 15/7. So I'm going to subtract 14/7 on this side and subtract 14/7 over here. That gives me y equals negative 3/7 times x minus, was that 29/7? And what do you see? Oh, it's D, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll leave that up.